Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the H Cup presented by BTS. We're going to be taking a look at game number 2 between CDEC.Y facing off against IG. Game number 1 was a little bit nutso, and now we're moving into game number 2. I'm not going to say a whole heck of a lot else about it. Danny, what was your impression, and tell me what you're expecting to see this time around?
So in terms of IG, their performance last game was almost crisp. They made some minor mistakes, but the idea of their draft was great. There was honestly very little CDEC could do overall, in particular with the Super Curse combination, the Supernova as well as the Winter Wyvern's Winter's Curse. Just because whenever you set up with the Winter's Curse, no one was typically in range for the Supernova outside of maybe demons every now and again, but it was such a good combination, and there was like, honestly, if CDC had a way to deal with it, they would have actually used it, and the combination could have failed terribly because IG banked a lot on the Winter Wyvern and the Phoenix to make that combination work, and because it was considerably unbeatable because of the positioning of the fights, it was like CDC, they were sort of like forced to try and get IG to waste the combos before anything really happened. And like it wouldn't work. Like every single time you get Bobica getting these 2 to 3 man Winter's Curses following up with the Supernova, and geez, that was such a good combination. And I think for CDEC, if they're moving into this game, they're gonna have to change it up with Inflame a little bit. He played more or less a tempo controlling utility based mid, which it's fine. He is a very talented mid player. But for the last game, they needed him to scale. They had a Lone Druid and a Juggernaut, but unfortunately those two heroes weren't enough to really play up against IG. They needed someone that had more killing potential, that also scaled, and the Batrider just didn't fit the bill. They needed more. And unfortunately, after the draft, you can't get more unless you play your heroes very well. So we're in game 2. CDEC, what are they going to pull out to achieve a win into game 2? We don't know, but IG, they grab the Invoker for Ferrari again.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I mean, this is sort of one of the heroes that was defining the way that they were playing in the last game, and I felt like he did a really great job. He did end up getting dove one time by the Batrider, and I think that they were able to pick up a kill in the early game, but it wasn't really that big of a cost compared to what he was able to get out of the mid game by going that Quas Wex build and just roaming through the jungle, finding kills. I believe there were a couple of times where he was rotating with some other heroes, Cold Snap Urn, and a couple of right clicks, and suddenly somebody was dead. So those are things that, you can win the lane, but you don't always necessarily end up winning the game off the back of that. And I like what CDEC.Y are going for here. They're going to try and win lanes again, but they're also doing it within the context of being able to take objectives. You got Vengeful Spirit there with the minus armor to be able to take on Roshan, as well as Nature's Prophet. They're on Dire side already, which should help them out a little bit more in that regard. And they're also going to be able to push towers with that Nature's Prophet. So strong lanes, being able to take objectives, this is what you need to do. And I think that they're fairly well set up to deal with it. But the Beastmaster, it worked so well for IG last game in terms of being able to shut down the vision. I have to sort of debate whether or not that was worth giving over as opposed to one of those other heroes that was banned out, either the OD or the Bounty Hunter.
I don't know. I don't think they should have given IG the Beastmaster. Like, you're giving him not only the global presence of the Invoker from Ferrari, but you're giving Invictus Gaming vision. You're giving them a solid disable. You're giving them a strong offlane. I felt like they may have given too much with the Beastmaster pick in itself. I actually really like the Vengeful Spirit pick simply because they now have a defensive support, so that if any of their main heroes actually get roared up by the Beastmaster, you can sort of swap them out and sort of buy time to get them into a better position, and maybe CDC can turn the fight around. But you don't know what their cores are outside of the Nature's Prophet. Obviously, Sven, not too attractive here, as Beastmaster is one of the best heroes into dealing with him. But with the Phantom Lancer, they're going to have to pick something up to deal with these illusions. And it's going to end up being the Zeus. So, lots of globals.
Yeah, definitely. It is a very global-based strat, and being able to keep them alive a little bit as well. I'm a little surprised about seeing the PL getting, or rather the Zeus pick into the PL. I guess that it kind of works. The thing that always just scares me about that is that when PL end up picking up that Fusel Blade, if you're able to get on top of the Zeus, it's basically a death sentence. Like, you can invest into a Force Staff to try and make yourself away, or a Yule Scepter also to take the damage off for a little while, but at the end of the day, this hero just swarms you, and I don't know if there's necessarily a great other option to be able to deal with it, but I don't know, the PL just, it feels so strong to me, and they take the counter to it as well in the Earthshaker to make sure that that doesn't end up happening. And I guess the one thing that you could say about this now is that with the Earthshaker pick, they also shore up their lanes with that Invoker in the mid lane as well. Like, finding a gank prospect coming in from the Nature's Prophet feels much less possible now.
Invictus
And they're actually going to go back for the
turn to
puck, so is
bat.
this a support Zeus then?
It seems like it. If they pick a support after this and make it a core Nature's Prophet Zeus puck lineup, then they have no way of scaling into the late game at all. So this definitely has to be either a support Zeus, or we could be looking at a jungle Nature's Prophet if they want to sort of greed this up a little bit, put the Zeus in the mid lane, maybe puck in the off lane and grab someone for that safe lane. But I think it's just too greedy.
Yeah. And that would mean an offlane puck also against a PL, which is kind of ish okay. Like, you're going to be able to phase shift away from the Phantom Lances, but Spirit Lances rather, but I don't think that it's strong enough to warrant
10
trying to go for that
seconds
pick. And in this type of game, I really feel like maybe IG are just going to be a little bit too tanky for what CDC.Y are bringing at them. Like, I'm looking at this draft, and you've got a decent chunk of damage, but if they lose one hero or they don't bring, like, the Zeus, Puck, and Vengeful Spirit, these are all very tanky heroes from IG, with the exception of maybe to the PL, but he's also elusive, so I'm concerned about their damage output, and, you know, if they go for just, like, another right-click core here, how do they sort of get themselves into a mid-game? They just have to win their lanes incredibly hard, and I don't know. I'm really concerned about CDEC.Youth's draft.
We'll have to see what they pick up last, but IG, they're going to finish up the draft with the Visage, which they were looking for another support, which is fine, but now they have the Visage birds to work with. So there's going to be Hawks, there's going to be Boars, Forge Spirits, PL Illusions, Visage Familiars. It's a freaking Zeus strat if you think about it from IG.
Yeah.
Oh god, there's so much pushing potential from IG, it's ridiculous. So firstly, they scale. They have lots of
10
push.
seconds
They
remaining.
have a strong offlaner, a relatively good mid laner,
5 seconds
and a
remaining.
PL who's going to be practically unkillable for CDEC just because of the kind of heroes that they've drafted. And they're going to finish up with a gyro. So it looks, this draft for CDEC, it looks like a complete outdraft, honestly. But, there's the big but. If they can make something happen during the laning phase, they are in a pretty good position to punish IG.
I hear what you're saying.
It's a big if.
It's a big if. Because, like, you're so heavily committed on these ultimates now, and well, IG can, like, group up. I mean, you can just get such an easy counter initiation with Earthshaker. Just throw out one fissure, and then all of a sudden you're not going to be able to have the catch that you need. Because just a Dream Coil, you know, with the Waning Rift and the Illusory Orb, and then a call down on top of it, I don't know if that's going to be enough damage to kill these heroes once they start investing in some stats. So I'm really concerned about CDEC's damage potential. They don't even have an Invoker to boost up the Gyrocopter after the fact. They're going to have to rely really heavily on that Gyro getting farmed. And I feel like I've just seen so many games where Gyrocopters, they commit heavily onto being able to stay alive, and then they don't end up translating that into meaningful farm for right-click damage. So CDEC.Youth, their draft has a lot of damage that can come out to some extent, but outside of their spells, like, the right clicks just don't feel like they're going to be there, and I don't know, it's going to be heavy lifting for, I feel like, both the Nature's Prophet and the Gyrocopter.
I also wanted to point out, going up against a Visage, this hero is king if he gets those early levels and lots of points into Soul Assumption. Like, if you look at the entire CDEC draft, who is tanky? Absolutely nobody. Everyone is going to be ripped to shreds from the Soul Assumptions being thrown out by wrong. So the CDEC, they did not give themselves any sort of an advantage. It's as if they're trying to handicap themselves so that they can win in some sort of extraordinary fashion, which it seems impossible right now, but they could prove us wrong. We've seen miracles happen before. I don't know if there's enough miracle powder for CDEC yet, though.
Well, Ferrari 430 is going to be moving into the mid lane, and I think a lot of how this game is going to go is going to depend upon this mid lane here. Puck versus Invoker, it's a matchup that we've seen several times, and I feel like it really is about being able to outplay somebody. But I'm really concerned about this. I mean, he's going for the Quas Wex build as well, so he's going to put himself in a good position to be able to, you know, scale pretty well and make sure that it's not too greedy. It's worth knowing he only has 50 base damage versus the 64 of the Puck, so Puck is going to be able to outlast him a little bit here.
Actually really harassing 430 as well. So if Inflame can maintain control in the mid lane and is assuming he's going to get a little bit of help from the Nature's Prophet TPs and maybe a Venge rotation, they can really shut down this Invoker. Because he is not the strongest when it comes to lanes, when it comes to defending himself. He's gone for Quest again, interestingly enough. So Ferrari doesn't seem to be a fan of the Exort build. And if you take a look up top, we were talking about how strong Beastmaster is in lane, and poor Demons is not having the day of his life.
Yeah, they are still keeping the Beastmaster at level 1, which is nice, and that's been somewhat effective. Like, they've been able to get these pull-throughs, which are pretty frustrating to deal with. And if you're able to get a lot of experience up on the Zeus, it's super effective. And they're going to continue to spam out a couple of spells. That actually pulls the creep wave over, so Beastmaster is going to be able to pick up a little bit of this experience. But of course, if you are able to get the last hit on the creeps from these neutrals, then that means the Beastmaster doesn't get anything out of those experience-wise. So kind of frustrating to deal with. Again, Ferrari 430 gets the Cold Snap. That's actually going to be already his Illusory Orb used, and if he wouldn't have had that creep wave coming in, he might have been able to kill off Inflame. Illusory Orb back up in 1 second, so isn't going to be able to punish him that much more from this.
Going to be a very tight mid matchup, but Inflame's going to heal all the way back up to full, and Ferrari, he can fall back to the cross balls. He's healing by... He's essentially tangoing up permanently at 7 base HP regen just because of the cross. So good as the Invoker's got the built-in regen. Has to be careful about Inflame though, because this puck is playing hyper aggressive. He is not giving Ferrari any sort of openings at all.
Yeah. And I will say too, like, this laning stage has gone pretty well. You look right now at the Nature's Prophet, who actually picked up a haste rune. He's been able to get level 2, and Beastmaster, he went for that rotation to try and pick up the bounty rune. He didn't get it, and so because of that, he's still stuck at level 1. So these things are starting to come into play a little bit. CDEC.Y, their draft is starting to work, and again, my question is, how much of a lead are they going to be able to build going into that mid game? And that's really going to be the question. Is it going to be enough of a lead? And I think that they might be able to. They probably are going to need to get like a solo kill in one of these lanes, or at least a kill in one of these lanes relatively early before it really starts spiraling out of control.
Demons is smoked up, and he was trying to look for a bit of a jump onto the Invoker in the mid lane, but instead he's changed his attention to the top lane. He wants to kill off XS. He's not really in a place to try and kill him off though. Like, XS is so close to his base, and I don't think there's enough disables on the side of CDEC to really take him down. It's just a Venge stun. The Zeus doesn't provide any sort of disable, so grabbing a kill on the Beastmaster is a big ask. Ferrari, in the meantime, is much better. Inflame is very close to grabbing that level 5, so he's got much more burst compared to the 3 in the other lane, which typically will take a couple of steps forward before they can really do anything.
Yeah.
So maybe just wait for 6 on Inflame to jump on Ferrari. That could be an easier option for Venge to execute.
Oh, down in the bottom lane, we end up being able to see the kill. Bobica finishes off with the fissure, and meanwhile, over to the side here, he's actually going to be caught in by the treants. They're not going to be able to find the kill, but behind enemy lines over here to the side, XS was getting wrapped around on by the Vengeful Spirit, and this is a really nice play. They ended up being able to get that single pull off, which meant they got a large creep wave, and they're going to have a second one coming in now. They kill off the creeps, and now they're going to be able to take down this tower. So just really quick and easy rotation. CDEC.Y, they're building an advantage, and unfortunately, if you're stuck at level 1, you can't really keep them off of your tower. Although again, you are seeing that they're taking a little bit of damage, and he was able to pull it with the boar, so they're not quite going to be able to get a ton of damage off, but they do finally get the tower there.
So they take the tower. What's the plan here for CDEC? They're not really in a position to keep pushing through. It's not like they're running a Chen or Enchantress with creeps to really speed up this early game push. So are they just going to keep on farming? Because like the disadvantage of pushing the tower so soon is that all of a sudden Ame has to sit so far forward to farm the creep wave, and that's actually a potential opening for IG to maybe bring in the Earthshaker or the Visage to TP into the top lane and kill off Ame.
Well, you're seeing right now that Demons is going to be able to get the pull through. So this would have been the moment right here where they would have had to go for Ame. And now that he's backing out, they're not going to be able to find him. So I think that CDEC, they're playing this perfectly. Like, as long as they get this pull through, then they should be fine. So Demons being able to get this, he should be able to finish it off. And yeah, that's one whole wave of creep waves that's going to be able to pull back his direction. And from this, it means that it's going to be basic. It just means that Ame is going to need to play really good creep management. As long as he does that, then he should be able to farm fine.
XS may just have to decide to rotate into the jungle. He's getting nothing in lane, so I don't see why he should be going back. So he is going to start farming the jungle at least. No Iron Talon, so this is going to be painfully slow.
Yeah. Well, and we can take a look now at the net worth graphs, and you see that Gyrocopter's up on top, no real surprise there. Peel has been left uncontested, and he's starting to build into the first drums, which he just has now complete. So they're going to be able to build a little bit of a lead off the back of taking that tower and finding the, a little bit of the, I mean, I guess they didn't get first blood, but regardless, they took the tower, so they have a little bit of a lead, not super significant. Inflame in the mid lane actually ends up being able to get caught out completely out of mana almost. Can they find the kill? A couple more right clicks, but it's not going to be there. And it looks like they're going to be fended off. Ferrari 430 might be going down himself. They're chasing now. Illusory Orb forward. They have been able to commit the Dream Coil. Goes for the Fairy Fire. Still alive for the moment, but he does finally get taken down. And now Wrong gets turned on also. He's a little bit too far out of his depth. Goes for the Fairy Fire turnaround, but he also goes down. The Fissure from afar, but it's not going to be enough. And it looks like that's going to be another tier 1 tower going down.
That was a 5-hero commitment from CDEC to grab those kills. So you grab the Visage, you grab the Invoker, and because you've got so many heroes here, they're going to start pushing in this mid T1. And Bobika can't do anything because he's already used his Fissure in the previous fight. He's down to 28 mana. There's no way he's going to get a Fissure down. And Harm even pops a cooldown just to send him further back, so nothing's going to happen. Yeah. And is this going to be a 7 to 8 minute T1 tower? Because with the way that CDEC is playing, they're playing this fast and loose. They want to finish this game as soon as possible.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say, though, that you look at this, and actually Inflame is going to try and contest over, but QD is going to be able to pick up an Illusion Room and starts just right-clicking Inflame a little bit. I would say that they're doing a lot of commitments with a lot of heroes, and they're finding kills, but they're not taking the objectives after the fact. They're actually going to wrap around now and probably kill off the Beastmaster. They didn't spot out that smoke rotation, and he's going to have to buy out in a second. Has level 6, but not enough mana for Roar. Do they find him, actually?
10 seconds on cooldown.
Yeah, he's super dead.
Rip.
Yep, that's a rough one. So you look at this, like, it's a 2k gold lead for CDEC.Y, but the experience is only 500 ahead. So there's a way that IG can come back into this one, and I think that it has to come off the back of Ferrari 430's just Invoker play, and him being able to delay as long as possible with that Tornado EMP combo.
Yeah, just delay it, make space for QD, and QD's probably going to need he's going to farm to about 20 minutes, and then he'll probably finish up his Diffusal Blade and etc., Manta Style, whatever he wants to go for. And then QD can actually just start jumping straight onto the CDEC heroes. They are all, as we mentioned earlier, they are all squishy. There are no frontliners, no one is buying a mechanism, no pipe, no Crimson Guard, no nothing.
Up top.
So there's going to be, can they actually grab Victoria?
Roar committed.
That Fissure didn't help.
They're going to rotate in, and yeah, this should be a kill. XZ is actually going to be here, and they throw out the magic missiles, so Bobika goes down. But they find the kill on the Zeus. I guess he's just a support, though.
Yeah, it's equal. It's Fissure, sorry, an Earthshaker for a Zeus. It's not really that much to say. QD in the meantime, though, taking a T1 down bottom, so small victory for IG to grab that for free. No one really down there to say anything. Otherwise, they're going to TP in the gyro though, so Arme's going to come to lane, sort of try and shove the PL out of here and say, this is my set of creep waves. CDEC, are they going to start pushing anytime soon? Because their draft is essentially on a time limit if they leave it like this.
You know, I think that they would want to, but again, these heroes that they're up against, Beastmaster can kind of pull through if they try and go for it. They did take down that mid tower finally. But if they commit too heavily, then again it runs into that problem that you were talking about earlier with the Gyrocopter not having the farm that he needs and relying too heavily upon just his spells. So I think that they would like to, and it looks like they're going to try and do it through team fighting first as they rotate 3 heroes down through the river to see if they can find a kill.
Oh, they're going to run into Bobika. That's going to be a sad, sad Earthshaker. Pops the Fissure and actually blocks the entire entry point. It's going to keep him safe, but the Nature's Prophet comes in and they have to commit the Dream Coil to cancel the TP. So, bit of a commitment, but they still grab the Earthshaker kill. And all of a sudden, you've got IG sort of sitting in a defensive position. They have to TP the puck up to the top because the creep wave has pushed because of the Beastmaster. And all of a sudden, you've got the Beastmaster given space and he's set level 7 all of a sudden.
Oh, wrong. He's going to get scouted out, but they have multiple heroes TPing in, and it looks like they're going to go for the counter initiation. They only hit onto one there, but Victoria is going to get roared up, and he is going to fall. It does look like XS is going to end up getting chased down here for a moment. QD jumps in. He does have Doppelganger to keep himself alive, but is going to chase now after Demons. Might end up going down. They have the Sprout for the moment to keep him safe, but he's finally going to fall. So they find 2 there for the 1 Visage, and it's pretty well worth it.
Is it really worth it? It's a support visage for 2 support kills, unless you're saying it's worth it for IG.
Yeah, I'm saying it's worth it for IG.
Oh, totally, yes. I was like, is worth it for CDC? I don't think so.
I'm very thankful that you're willing to call me out on bullshit if it does pop up, so thank you for that.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, definitely worth it if you're IG to lose the visage. How close is visage to level 6? Wrong is about a quarter of a way left to level 6. And then once that's up, you've got the visage birds that are going to be able to roam around the map, and we all know what happens with visage birds. It's all of a sudden there's just global presence. Oh, Bubba.
He drops down the fissure. He's going to try and TP, but he gets a little bit of a zap in there, and he is going to end up getting chased down. But that does tell them no more Thunder God's Wrath, so they commit that for the kill, and it looks like they are going to be able to get away. Inflame actually is going to be cold snapped up and starting to go down. They're going to be able to kill him off, so a really well done kill there, and that's essentially the puck for the Earthshaker. That's pretty nice there for them as well.
The good news for Puck, though, is that he finished up the Blink Dagger, so he didn't have the Blink Dagger delayed by any means, which typically means if you have a Blink Dagger on the Puck, that is the go time to make those plays happen. So for IG, they've got to be very careful. This first reveal of the Blink Dagger could be a huge surprise. If you're IG, you probably wouldn't be surprised. You're probably expecting it to be coming up soon just because of how good of a start CDEC has been trying to put themselves in. Just give themselves as much of a head start as possible. Visage Birds are online, so they are going to start scouting out to see where some of these CDEC heroes are. But for IG, they're not really worried about their positioning on the map. They're just sort of picking a lane and sticking to it and farming, whereas with CDEC, they're the ones controlling the game because it's not like they want to. They have to.
Absolutely. And I think that you're starting to see a little bit of that control wane as they did take down the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, but it's still starting to come back into the favor of IG a little bit, particularly in the experience faction. And I think that now you've got the Boots of Travel that's up on QD. He's going to be able to, well, they actually have many heroes that are rotating in right now, but he realizes this, sees them rotating in, and is going to end up backing out.
TP.
Looking for it. QD. They're going to be able to go for the Doppelganger away, get stunned up.
It breaks the coil. Can they kill QD? Where's the damage? They need a little bit more. The tornado buying time. The cooldown isn't going to catch him. No, he's too fast. All those spells committed, and you don't even get your target. Yeah. That's a big window of opportunity for IG to just push CDEC back. Without all these spells on CDEC, they can't make anything happen. Yeah. Oh, that was so close. Although they could try and get Visage Birds.
The other nice thing that happened while that was going on was Beastmaster took the top tier 1 tower, and like he's just been able to get a ton of free space since then. Like he's already building into a Necro book, and the Boots of Travel come in for QD. They got Inner Beast Aura. They're going to be able to take down or at least do a good amount of damage to this tower, and they can't really come and contest this because they don't have the spells available to be able to do it right now. So you've got 4 heroes that are up. They're going to be able to take a tier 2 tower of their own, and it looks like CDEC.Y are going to try and take Roshan in turn, which is probably about the best play that they could have made. But it's going to be that sort of natural trade of the tier 2 for Roche. And this is, I feel like, got to favor IG a little bit more. Inflame is actually pretty far forward here.
They're not going to commit to Roshan anymore. It's just taking far too long, and they're worried that, oh, they almost caught demons with 430. The tornado a little bit off, catching the illusions rather than the hero. Although, Inflame could be jumped on by 4 IG heroes, and there's also going to be no orb. He does have the blink back, and he just gets roared. The fairy dragon disintegrates. Like, it's as if he was never there.
Did he not realize that they were going to place a ward right there? Like, I don't know. It felt a little bit strange to me. So about a 700, 800 gold swing, and IG, like, they were so far ahead. Well, not really so far ahead, but CDEC had built a lead, and now they're starting to throw it a little bit away. And the longer that this game goes on, with all of these cores online for IG, and just barely, mainly the gyrocopter there to hold them back, like, I'm so concerned about their ability to close this one out. It looks like IG are starting to take control of this game.
They're getting overwhelming for sure. And for CDEC, they can't afford to let this happen at all. This is actually never meant to happen. Considering the kind of heroes that they are, like any sort of momentum for IG is bad news for CDEC, because it means that the heroes are going to start getting those levels. They're going to have their level 2 ultimates. Items are going to come up, so they start getting tankier and tankier. And this magical burst lineup for CDEC is really going to start to fall off. And they're stealing this ancient camp. It's a 3-stack, I believe. They're going to take a little bit of it.
And they actually throw out the axes as well. They scout this out. There's only a couple more of those creeps left over, and man, if I'm CDEC right now, this is just like not the nail in the coffin, but certainly frustrating. And because of that, it's actually going to be Demons that cleans up the last little bits of these. So really, really frustrating to deal with. QD is going to start to become a monster too, because he's already starting to build into that diffusal blade. You take a look; he's got two of the blades of alacrity, and is about to be able to pick up that robe of the Magi. And then all he needs is the last little recipe. So pretty big problems, and all of these heroes for CDEC.Y, they need their mana really desperately. You've got the Invoker EMP and now also Diffusal Blade fairly shortly on the PL. This game becomes a whole heck of a lot harder.
And all of a sudden you got Necro Book 3 on the Beastmaster. It's 16 minutes in and Victoria's, oh, he's fine. Verts did not go for the drop quick enough.
Oh.
That should have been a kill.
Well, a little unfortunate there.
Displays.
Ferrari 430's scouting though, and he's been able to pick up that Midas on top of the urn, so you end up being able to find somebody out. You find a quick kill, you get the urn charges up. That's going to be the way to really sort of counter out this puck, because like if you're able to find the puck before this fight begins and you're able to disable that blink, it shuts down the puck's ability to really have that mobility in the fight that it relies upon. We've talked numerous times about the lack of survivability on the side of CDEC.Y. We saw with the Roar there, if your puck just gets caught out, you're basically dead. So this is a tough thing.
It looks like they want to jump onto Bobica now. Puck does have an Arcane Root popped, and it looks like they're going to start up with the Nature's Prophet, not even committing the Dream Coil. They want to hang on to that. Arcane Rune is still available though, so if they do find somebody, they're going to have that reduced cooldown on the Dream Coil. But it looks like for now IG are going to give this away, or they're at least going to let them take a little bit of it, whereas the rest of their team going to capitalize on this open space that they're sort of given. Because let's face it, the push for CDEC is not the best. They've got the Treants, which is fine, but they're not running any Desos, they're not running anything like a Lone Druid Bear. Inflame goes in for a Silence, as well as the Dream Coil. He does manage to orb out of there, but that's just a defensive Dream Coil, although it looks like they have managed to find Arme. Oh god, you don't want to lose the Gyro here. He is pretty much dead now.
There's the axes, and QD finishes off with a nice little lance to the back of the dome. Dr. Robotnik goes down as he's heading towards the river, and unfortunately, this is... I mean, there's losing complete and total control of this game. You're in this draft where you've got Ferrari, who's just going to be able to continue to scale well, and well, Nature's Prophet, like, he ended up going for the Maelstrom build, which I really like in this situation, because it allows you to split push, it allows you to scale a little bit better. It's kind of like the active Midas, if you will. It's just, they don't have that AoE ability to get back into this game after they pop those first couple of ultimates. They don't have that right click that they need, and it looks like XE is going to end up maybe getting caught out here. They don't want to go for it yet.
Yeah, not enough heroes to secure that kill. At this point, if you're XZ, would you start transitioning into that split push Nature's Prophet build and consider picking up your own Necro Book, finishing up the Mjolnir and going for... Oh, can I get that kill? Oh, it's just Bobica. Can't really do too much as an Earthshaker.
Jeez. Well, they find the kill
on
on
the job description.
That was nice. At the same time, there's a 3-person smoke that was going on that ended up getting broken by the Invoker, so... The small little rays of light within it for CDEC.Y. Like, if they're able to secure this Roshan, this would be huge right here. But again, I think that they know this is going on since the Visage Birds are right up front and center. They do end up getting killed off, but it looks like for now they're going to try and pressure the top lane in response.
This is such a slow Roche. Oh, jeez. Even with the Medallion, this is not the fastest Roche in the world, and IG, they're more than willing to give the Aegis away, just because even with the Aegis, this does not completely solve CDEC's problem, which is their reliance on these spells, and they're going to have to start backing out now as some of these heroes have started to TP back. And it looks like Enflame doesn't really want to commit to chasing. Instead, he's going to try and whittle down some of the creep waves that have accumulated up here. But yeah, the Aegis does not solve CDEC's problem. Like, IG is going to become so big that they will have more than enough damage to start killing off some of the CDEC's hero, whereas for CDEC, it's going to be the other way around. They are running out of damage. IG is getting tanky. Like, in particular, like, especially the Beastmaster, like, because he's got this Necro Book 3 and he's going to be building into more items, he is a tanky hero as is. The PL is practically unkillable, not only because he's elusive, but he's also quite quick. He's got Boots of Travels as well as Drums. Are there any heroes that can really chase him outside of using their disables? No. So
I,
CDEC, what can they do with the Aegis? We don't know.
Well, they're going to be able to secure this ancient stack at least because you're not going to want to fight into this as IG. The other thing that's kind of nice about this is Inflame ended up going for the Dagon build. We talked about the need for damage. This is another source of it, and if they're able to burst down Ferrari in the midst of a team fight, that's a huge detriment to IG, and that's really, I think, probably person number one, with the exception of probably PL. But again, if you don't find the right PL, then you're just going to not be able to kill them off anyways. So probably number one priority is PL, and then afterwards is going to be Ferrari. And whichever one of those you're able to catch out and Dagon down at the start would be really good. But you can see right here that because of this, Gyrocopter, they don't want to end up going for the late game. He's actually going to be going for the BKB first. And while I understand the need for it, it's so painful for Ame to have to go for this. It's a really, really frustrating item pickup, I'm sure, to have to go at this 20-minute mark.
I don't know how the BKB is going to really help Ame. Like, it's okay, I suppose, to avoid some of the disables. They've managed to catch out onto a couple of heroes. Bobica popping the Echo Slam, and Vengeful Spirit just disintegrated. It was as if it actually happened really quickly. And Flame's actually trying to look for Ferrari, but without the follow-up, he can't really do anything, but he's going to keep on chasing, and without any disables, they managed to catch him with the Dagon. Some value Dagon right there. It's only 1-1 though, as we've got the Visage Bird being taken down by Ame. Now they're looking for more. But it looks like everyone on IG has managed to get away, so... Oh, actually, can they find wrong? They lost sight.
That was really unfortunate there. The Earthshaker, I don't think they realized that they had the Dagon up, because he actually had the ability to stop that kill from happening. He was thinking about fissuring the puck, but instead ended up holding off on it. And because of that, Puck had enough time to go for the Dagon and the nuke as well. So they get the really nice kill there. Bobica, a little bit of a misplay, but you can kind of understand it because you didn't realize the Dagon was going to be up, and they get a really important kill. Like, that was super necessary. And now you got a Mjolnir up on the Nature's Prophet. BKB has been completed. They're in a better position now, but they've got to take advantage of it. It's, I mean, better than terrible. Like, it's not significantly better to the point where they're in control of the game by any means, but they're at least in a situation where they can start to make some moves around the map.
They're getting a little bit of gold, but it's great they get a kill on the Invoker, but it's not as valuable unless they start taking some of the objectives, right? Like, you'd want to be taking the mid T2, you want to be taking the top T2, or maybe doing some damage to the T3 if possible. If you're going to kill a hero off the map and you have a draft that's essentially on a timer, and you can't capitalize on it the most that you possibly can, like, you're essentially still giving time away to IG. Yes, you have no Ferrari on the map, but you still have QD, you still have XS. They're gonna get the kill onto the onto the Nature's Prophet. No, not Earthshake, I got it backwards. Although, they're possibly gonna be losing the Nature's Prophet, and now Inflame's gonna stick around. QD's very low. Do they have anybody to chase him down? It's just Inflame, he gets roared, and it's gonna be a Fairy Dragon stake. Really in the pockets of IG.
They're pushing the top lane, but yeah, they can't allow that to happen right there, and just getting a little bit too greedy with the jump there onto the Earthshaker. Again, they're starting to rotate over this way, and it's going to be not going to catch on the lift up, so just the EMP is going to go out onto those creeps with the tornado hitting slightly. And again, you're starting to look at this PL here who's getting pretty freaking big. He did drop really low to that last gank, but now that he's already been able to pick up the Drums Diffusal Blade Yasha, he's starting to become a real big problem at this stage. And running out of mana is not something that CDEC's heroes are going to be able to really survive throughout. Like, you've got Zeus now is also going for the Veil build to be able to maybe have that burst down, but they don't have that, like, initial catch and control to really be able to shut one of these heroes down. I feel like they're just going to be able to sort of right-click through them and toss out, like, it really comes down a lot to Ferrari's initiation, but it's been pretty solid throughout, so I'm tending to trust it.
It gets worse now, though. There's a Blink Dagger on the Beastmaster, and obviously with a Blink Beastmaster on the map, you know IG is going to make those aggressive plays. They will actively look for kills with XS with the Blink Roars, and there's nothing CDEC can do about it. You can bring a Nature's Prophet in, but he hasn't gone for Scythe of Ice, he hasn't gone for Orchid, he's got no defensive items, so even if he TP's in to try and help out the Raw target, there's honestly nothing that he's going to be able to do outside of maybe trying to get a counter kill on the Beastmaster, but even then, I don't think that's quite possible for XS. And all of a sudden, you take a look at the positioning of everyone on the map, IG is moving aggressively in CDEC's jungle. CDEC are the ones that are moving quite cowardly together, because they're so worried about getting picked off. Their draft is so team-oriented, they can't separate, otherwise they're easy prey for IG.
Well, they're going to go for a smoke now, and they've got 4 heroes. They're actually going to smoke TP. All right, well, the XZ is going to drop down, and they end up being able to kill him off. Now Inflame is caught up by the urn, not going to be able to blink away for the moment. They buy back immediately onto this, and it looks like, at least for now, IG are going to feel comfortable getting out of there. So a really very odd collection of movements right there. They felt like they needed to go for it. Oh my god, that was so bad for CDEC.Y. Like, they end up being able to get the kill on the Beastmaster, sure, but they smoke, and then they don't find the kill, and then they come back and try and defend, and then Nature's Prophet, like, buys back and doesn't do anything with it. So, I don't know. That was rough. That was not what needed to happen.
That's gold Nature's Prophet needs too. If he actually managed to get something done with the buyback, then at least it would have been somewhat worth it. But now all of a sudden, it's gold he could have had, and it's also a buyback that he could have used in the future. So now he's got to wait the next 6 seconds, has to play a little bit more cautiously. They are going to try and jump onto QD. They're actually going to run right into the Visage too, and all of a sudden they've spotted them. They will have the TP in from the puck, and Ronxon go for an Insta TP. They immediately burst down the Visage, and all of a sudden QD gets isolated. And that's a nice couple of kills going into the pockets of CDEC. IG, are they getting a little overconfident with their movements?
Yeah, I think so. And it's because of this timing right here. This is the moment where CDEC are incredibly strong, and I think a lot of it comes down to that puck pickup of the Dagon. Like, this would normally be the point where they'd be falling off, but because you've got that extra little bit of magical damage that's coming in from the puck now, I mean, I say extra little bit, it's 400 damage. It's really significant. This is before BKBs have started to come online for the rest of the side of IG, and if they're not careful, like, again, it's glass cannons because this roar is about to kill Inflame. Like, he is gonna die. Oh my god, did I really just Caster Curse that? He's gonna walk away for the moment. Oh, there it is. They find the kill, and now Victoria getting chased down as well. XS dropping low. They turn back around, just smack him down to the ground. Zeus gets hit up there, and XZ is gonna get dissuaded from going any further with the fissure.
It's still a 1-to-1 though, and it's a Beastmaster for a puck, which is definitely a trade that you'd be looking to.
Yeah.
Like, if you get rid of the puck, what does CDEC really do? What's their ganking presence? Puck is their only source of ganking presence outside of maybe a TP in from XZ, but the Nature's Prophet can't do anything by himself. He needs a setup, which is the role that Inflame is playing. So if you're IG and you kill the puck and you lose the Beastmaster, that's a trade you happily make any day because you know CDEC can't make the plays happen without Inflame. So when all that's said and done, it's CDEC that's hurting the most because they can't make any of these plays happen.
The other thing we haven't seen this game so far has been like the big Echo Slam either, which is still online. So if you're CDEC, you gotta be really freaking careful about your movement patterns throughout this, particularly with the Nature's Prophet in tow, because like they haven't even taken out a tier 2 tower yet. So for me at least, the big thing is that this Phantom Lancer is going to get a whole heck of a lot bigger, and they're not really set up to deal with that effectively. The only thing that they can really hope to do is get the jump onto him off the start, which they are going to not really be able to do effectively either, because Beastmaster is always going to have vision advantage. So there's just so many things that are stacked up against CDEC in this game that I think that it's going to take some miraculous plays for them to be able to win here against IG.
I think they need more than miraculous plays now. There's a BKB on the Phantom Lancer, so practically everything CDEC throw at him outside of the swap is not going to work at all. They're at least going to get the roast though, so we've got the Aegis into the pockets of the gyrocopter. But what sort of plays can CDEC make happen with that Aegis? Are they going to make any plays happen? They're only going to show Inflame down bottom. They're going to go mid with the gyrocopter. Throw a little spread, and if IG notice this, they can go for a jump onto the puck. Oh, they got the roar on Inflame.
Yells in his ear, kills him off with a quick little bore, and nice little play there to put it together. Doing a pretty good job again, and they're able to find a kill. I'm kind of curious now, like, again, with this Aegis up, you want to go, but you also really can't effectively try and take a fight without your puck. So I think it's going to go back to farming time, and meanwhile, they're actually going to TP in on these Visage Birds for the moment. QD is here, and the right-click forward onto the Nature's Prophet. Going to start to drop pretty low. Diffusal Blade down as well. He is going to end up going down, and no amount of melee or damage is going to be able to save him there. QD chased as well. They have the Magic Missile available. Pops his BKB, going to head away for the moment, and that was his 10-second one, so a little unfortunate he had to pop it defensively there.
I think if you're QD, you'd be pretty happy with that, just to grab a free kill and to not die. Obviously, you'd like to use it in a complete team fight, but still, at least he's still alive. He's getting bigger and bigger. And CDEC, they can't do anything because Inflame got caught out again. I'm really concerned with the with Inflame on the puck. Like I can understand you getting a bit overconfident because you're running a puck, one of the more elusive mids where like he's always going to have the orb, he's always going to think about phase shift, he's got the blink, but he's just been caught out. This is the second time he's been caught out by the blink dagger Beastmaster twice. Like, he can't afford to do that because when he's not on the map, there's nothing his team can do outside of just farm an Arme. And if in a farming situation between both teams, like IG is always going to come out ahead because their entire team scales so well with items. Like even the Visage is going to turn into an absolute monster once he starts getting the Aghanim Scepter. Like 3 Visage birds versus all these really squishy heroes on CDEC.
Yeah.
I don't. What CDEC do now? What's the plan? The game slowed down so much that I don't even know if they can really fight into IG that much anymore.
Well, the plus side about this too is that, you know, we talked about the damage falling off a little bit. Ame is getting relatively large, and he's got his butterfly up as well. So it's another little mitigation for the damage that's coming in from the PL, and I like it a good deal. But again, like if you start to get into the later stages of this game, it's pretty hard to bring down that PL eventually once he starts getting... He went for the Sanjin Yasha first, so I'm kind of curious if he goes back for Heart at this stage or just wants to go for the Scotty. Normally you would end up seeing like the Scotty instead of the Sanjin Yasha and then into Manta afterwards, but I think that this build you could end up going for straight Heart and it would be okay. But regardless...
Look at Bobika's position. He was actually prepared to go for a jump if CDEC tried to continue on pushing in that top lane, but
yeah.
He's gonna find nothing. Oh well. Oh, actually I see a TP. It looks like they're gonna jump onto Bobika with Inflame and ends up being free kill for the puck, but all of a sudden there was a TP by QD. Yeah. Everyone just boots of travelings to creeps.
I can't handle all these boots of travel. I'm losing my mind here. But yeah, 700 gold swing off the back of that one, and a pretty nice one at that. Does look like Ferrari's going to be scouting things out again. He's got his Ghost Walk going. Been unusually quiet for himself. Top lane, going after Inflame. They're going to be able to catch their Diffusal Blade. BKB's been popped, turning on to XZ. He's dropping fairly low, and this might be a quick kill here. Can they kill off Inflame, though? They get the stuns off from the Visage Birds. That was so huge. And now they're going to be able to drop the gem as well. Man, that would have been a kill otherwise, and... out here, they're going to be able to kill off the Zeus right at the start. Ame drops it on the cooldown, but it's not actually going to hit on anybody, so fine for the moment. And now they're going to be able to turn this one back around. 2,100 gold swing already, and I think that Ferrari has been able to escape for the moment.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any detection. Oh, they got one sentry ward on Demon, but Ferrari's pretty much out of there free. And I think by the time Demon realizes he's here, might end up dying instead. Oh, a little bit more. The Urn Charge is going to be taking the last hit, and that'll be enough, and... well, unfortunately, Ame can't do anything by himself. He is just a simple gyrocopter. And that's...
you got wrong here in the mid lane who's pushing things out. Like, everything. It's just calculated.
See, everything's going wrong for CDEC. They've lost 4 heroes. There's only a gyrocopter on the map. They've essentially lost their power curve, and all of a sudden, you're at a level where you don't want to be at if you're up against IG. And now they may attempt trying to jump onto Ame. Nope. Just the Grave Chill. Thinking about it, but... no commitment. They're just going to sort of leave that mid tower for now and back up, regroup, grab some more kills, and then continue on with the slow siege. It's as if CDEC just don't have control of this game anymore. Oh, the Echo. Ame, is he dead? The Sunstrike, he's going to be able to walk out of it. The Roar, the heavy commitment, they need to kill the Gyro. They do finally grab him, and XZ being jumped on by this huge PL. Nature's Prophet disintegrates. The puck trying to phase shift as well as get out of there. He's fine, but... it's 2 cores down for CDEC, and IG, they only lost the Earthshaker, who has done all that he needed to do. The Echo Slam, Slam Dunks, grab that kill, mission accomplished.
Yeah, but now heading down towards this bottom lane. Again, it's so easy to pick them off there with that instant initiation that they've been able to get, and even though they didn't quite hit the Sunstrike there, the Fissure was a little bit on the later side, they were still managing to be able to pick that kill up. So really well played, and now it looks like they're going to be able to take this tier 2 tower, no problem. Again, like... it's just this lineup that's so freaking strong, and now Alacrity up on QD as well. They have a couple of buybacks, but Inflame blinking away. Needs to be careful. They get the Diffusal Blade off onto Victoria. He's going to end up dropping there. They get the silence, but it's not really going to be enough. Dreamwell has been committed, but I think that they're going to be able to find this one. Ame comes in with the BKB already there, and it looks like QD is going to be able to TP away. They do end up swapping him to Blanket, and now he's going to run off the other direction. Can he actually escape from this? He ends up going down, but they get the Courier. What the heck was on that one? That was actually the Yule Scepter that was up for the puck? Dang.
Oh, wow. Jeez, it's going to slow down his Yules. There's also an Ags just finished up on Wrong, so you now have the 3 Visage Birds to deal with. God, everything's going completely disastrous for CDEC. Like, at least they defend their axes, but at this rate, if they can't make anything happen against IG, if they can't grab any objectives, which when was the last time CDEC grabbed an objective? Was it a good 15 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I think that probably it was that mid tier 2 or bottom tier 2, but yeah, it was so freaking long ago. I felt like another game, and they did end up killing off both couriers. So the entire courier died in their base. The Radiant one died to the Nature's Prophet snipe. So pretty well done across the board. And now we're actually going to see the Shadow Blade up on the Beastmaster. I freaking love this play because they've also got the Boots of Travel on pretty much everybody. So as soon as they find somebody out, they're going to be able to go on in for the kill and then obviously go for the Boots of Travel in onto one of the Beastmaster creeps. And you just look at the vision advantage. It's so significant. They know where everybody is when they're moving through their own jungle, and it's very frustrating to play against.
It is. It is really, really painful to watch as well if you're a CDEC fan. They're actually going to see 3 Visage Birds. Oh, Boboka. Please don't die, Boboka.
I think he's dead. Yeah, that's a 10 Azure Shaker. He ends up going down, and it's going to be the jaunt away, but he's getting a little bit too frisky. I like this ward placement behind the secret shop. It's kind of cool, but it also does end up meaning that he ends up going for something a little bit outside of his wingspan.
Just a little bit. Since I've been seeing the Visage, he's fed a fair few of the familiars. Like, he'll throw them right on top of CDC's heroes, but then he won't really do anything with them, so CDC just gets 300 gold per Visage Bird. And if he shows them here, he may lose more Visage Birds, because he lost one I think just a couple of moments ago. But we haven't really seen that much presence from the Visage, have we? It's more or less Wrong participating in team fights, but that's about it. He really hasn't had that much more presence in the map. Like, he's gonna lose another one, and he almost loses another one. Almost. It's the last Visage Bird left, and he doesn't have the resummon for another 18 seconds. So Inflame's looking to snipe this. These 2 hits. It's actually just hiding in the tree line. They're actually going to go for a TP, as we've got everyone on IG, or at least 2 of them, in the bottom lane looking for a bit of a push and shove.
Well, let's take a look at the difference in terms of team net worth again. About 5k lead for IG. It doesn't really feel like they're going to be going for anything outside of waiting for the next Roshan. So everything's put on hold for the moment. You've got that Agnum Scepter up on Visage and feeding away a couple birds here and there. Any other big items that we've got up? I mean, the BKB for the PL has been around for a little while. He's actually sitting on 5,800 gold. I don't know. Do you think that this one's going to be the heart at this stage? Do you think it ends up being Scotty? Is there anything else that I'm missing here that he could go for?
Well, since he has the Sand and Yasha, he could probably just go straight for a heart. Like, if you pick up Skadi, it's great for giving stats. It's going to give you a little bit of everything. But if you already have a slow with the Sand and Yasha, you may as well just go for that heart. Oh. So, unless because you may already know that he's going to be going for a Manta style somewhere down the line. And it looks like no one's going to drop down bottom as they manage to get out safely. And then all of a sudden, you've got all these heroes in the mid lane for IG. But yeah, he's going to finish up the heart, so that's going to be not just sustain for the PL, but all of a sudden you have to deal with these incredibly tanky illusions that also drain a lot of mana, and it looks like they've found the Vengeful Spirit. She's isolated, she's blocked off. Demon's going to be going back home into the fountain, and oh, Ame, don't go on the high ground. You don't want to be losing you yet.
They realize that he's over there, though, so they're going to look for another one. They catch on to Inflame. She's going to end up going down, and they recognize that the Gyrocopter was not going to be able to be there in time, so taking advantage, going after the weaker prey, and now it's time to think about potentially even going for high ground. There's the DD rune still up on PL, looking for the catch if they're going to be able to find Ame here. There's Doppelganger to the high ground, and they're just going to send the illusions forward, but this is going to be a lane of barracks here, I believe, and it looks like they're at least going to be able to take this one. Buyback status on the puck, non-existent. No 50 seconds there for the puck, and they're going to jump forward, look for the tornado, not quite there in time. My goodness, this is really... IG, they're just going to be able to take this, I think.
Well, they can take it because there's no initiator. Like, if there's no puck, there's no one to go in for the starting jump for CDEC. And obviously IG, with no puck buying back, they know there's no buyback, so they're just going to keep on going till about maybe 10 seconds left on the puck respawn timer, and then they'll probably slow it down a little bit. They're going to pop the cold down, but what is it really doing to the PL?
Yeah.
Like QD can back up a little bit, he gets free regen from the heart, and he just sort of like resets and reloads and goes back in. Now there's no cooldown on Ame. So for Ame to do anything, he's going to have to get within a very small range between him and the PL and potentially get jumped on like XS. Is Ame really doing this by himself? He's actually somehow one-manned a full defense on that Rax.
Yeah, and that was the
Wow.
melee barracks that they were hitting. The other thing about this is that there was a lot of pressure on the top lane while this was all going on. So Nature's Prophet was able to keep them off for the moment, and that does force at least the PL back. So another nice little play. They got a full lane of barracks off of that, though, just from the one kill and a little bit of bad positioning. Like, that was all also set up by the Earthshaker being able to essentially divide the two squads over here with Demons getting fissured up. So across the board, really, really well played there by IG, and now they're going to be in a position to come and contest Roshan. There is a 5-man smoke that's moving through the river, and they're going to see if they can find somebody. They jump forward immediately, right off the bat, onto the Earthshaker. He's going to end up going down. That was one of those moments where you could see the fear in his eyes as he was just trying to move back and forth, but they've been able to catch one. The Tornado is not going to connect. They have the EMP as well. Onto Inflame, blinks away, and I think that that might end the chase.
There was actually a big item picked up by the Nature's Prophet just now. He got a Scythe of Ice. And with hard lockdown like that, you can take some of these heroes down. Demons, oh, he's going to be hit with the Sunstrike, the Roar, the Swap. Demons, he's going to drop at least. They're trying to keep Ame alive. He pops the call down. They're trying to catch Nature's Prophet, but he instantly tries to go for a TP. Can they finish him off? The Deafening Blast. They can't quite get the Nature's Prophet. Ame's still man fighting, but he is by himself. It's a one-man gyro squad. They get shut down by the Earthshaker. Now Victoria, one of the last heroes in the vicinity, dropping as well to Ferrari. That's 3 heroes dead for CDEC.
Chase after Inflame mid lane. He TP boots to the creep wave and thought about running after him, but wasn't able to quite catch it. And this is exactly what we're talking about. It gets to this stage in the game where Gyrocopter doesn't have enough damage and PL just does not freaking die. And so now you're in this great position where, again, you've got so many heroes down and dead. Gyrocopter does have buyback, but if you use it at this stage in the game, like, he's also, it's going to end up being asking for trouble, and then he's not going to have the farm that he needs to kill out QD. They need to somehow hold without him buying back, but I don't think that's going to happen. He's going to have to if they want to save this lane of Rax.
Yeah, absolutely, with the PL as well. So there's the buyback from Ame, and everyone in CDEC there can at least show themselves. They got the Scythe of Ice though onto QD, but everyone's too far behind. They can't catch the PL. With no other Blink heroes in the vicinity, they just can't catch him. They can't catch him and burst him down. Oh,
Ferrari
it's
got
a
the
huge
Aegis,
buyback.
too. Like, the
that
thing
makes
that's nuts
everything 10
about
times
that,
worse.
like, you go in for that, you try and, like, you buy back, you feint that everybody is right on their high ground, but then the rest of them were going for Roche. It's just like, IG are playing out of their mind right now. I think that they're a little bit upset about how that last game and set of games ended up going, and really came to play here on this one. And Ferrari 430 has been leading the charge.
He is going to be leading the charge, and I think it's also for CDC. They drafted. It's not really an interesting draft. They just didn't really pick a draft that matched the game that we would end up going into, right? Like, they picked all these early game heroes that it could have been better. There were a lot of heroes that were available, and Ferrari's going to start the fray with a Tornado. They've cashed out Ame. He does have support still. They might have to commit the swap to get him out of here. BKB doesn't get hit with the Sunstrike. They still don't have demons anyway. Actually decided to swap Victoria of all heroes, and Ame with no BKB is probably going to drop. He does get the stun onto GD, or QD, sorry, and actually Echo Slam. They get the gyro, they're going to get the PL out of there, and he's going to start regenning with the heart, the pushback onto the Nature's Prophet, Inflame is dead, Victoria's slain, as well as Demons, and that's pretty much a GG.
GG ends up getting called. They're
Wrong.
owning. My goodness, Wrong is super excited. He's really pleased with the outcome here, but IG, they end up bringing it back around, and really, really impressive play. The thing to remember, all you people out there all across the world, keep in mind, IG just lost 4 games in a row against the same team. Not this one, but it was against vg.reborn, and they end up being able to come back after the 4 series and win 2 in a row. Really, really impressive stuff from them. Very excited to see what ends up happening there, and keep in mind, this is them moving forward in the lower bracket. They're going to face off against the losers of eHome facing off against vg.r. Lyrical, Dota, Danelie, Casts, any final thoughts before we end up finishing off for the evening?
I'm hoping that EG, it's not EG, Jesus Christ, wrong region. I'm hoping that IG gets a better run in their next series. And I think that's the thing to note as well. eHome and VG Reborn, those are not easy teams to go up against. Like if you look at both teams and the matchup that they have with IG, like VG Reborn has already cleaned them, like wiped them off the floor. I think eHome would be the exact same story. But if they can win that series in the lower bracket, then that means something. That means that IG, even though they haven't played that well today, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily a bad team now. It just means that they're sort of still discovering each other as a team. Because let's face it, we've just had a massive reshuffle. Teams are getting used to each other. And even though there's some teams doing well now, it takes other teams a little bit more time to adapt. So let's keep an eye out on IG and see if they do improve as a team.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys again for tuning in. It was an absolute pleasure casting for y'all. I hope wherever you are in the world, you're having a wonderful day. It's currently about 6 in the morning here where I am, and we're going to end up closing out for the evening. Yet again, you can catch more H Cup presented by BTS. That's going to be the day after tomorrow is when we're going to see eHome facing off against a vg.r, and then after that one is going to be the second to last lower bracket matchup, which is going to be IG facing off against the loser of that series. So thank you guys again. Have a wonderful day, and see you guys later.